if you're thinking about homeschooling, don't think about it. Just jump in and do it. I don't think you can do it wrong. You can't do any less than what they're already doing in school, and that is most likely not giving your child the 100% time and attention that they need. Hey there, YouTube. Welcome back to another video. This is Dr. Leah on the Homeschool channel. And very sorry, I actually have recorded so many other videos that I am going to be in the process, I'm going to be in the process of editing soon and getting you some things out. Like, we pretty much did like the first day, recorded all of the first day. I also have just several things of like what we're doing. And right now we are actually leaving the library from our learning for today. So if you are new here, I am a former teacher. I also have my doctorate degree in education because I used to want to be an administrator. I taught teacher education for several years at the university level, some really good schools. But now I am a homeschool mom because I actually do not love the politics of our educational system. So we are here. If you find value in this video, please like, share, and subscribe because I will be showing just our homeschool process. I will be showing some strategies and things like that. Why am I here? So let me just give you guys a story time. I say hi. Hi. So she's back there probably just having some wind down time. But so I did not initially intend on homeschooling her. So she was slated to go to school. We could not wait to put her in school. And during the first year that she was supposed to go, her birthday is on August the 2nd, and they ended up honoring the cutoff date of August the 1st. Despite my attempts to fight it with the state education board, which did say that she could be allowed to go to school in our state because they have this like clause window. So if your child's birthday is after the August 1st cutoff but before the October 1st cutoff, that a school can still accept them. The school did everything that they could to say no. Hindsight is 2020 because I actually just said she actually deserves to be a learner. She's really smart, and I already knew that making her wait an entire year because her birthday was one day behind the cutoff would probably be more detrimental than it was to her to help her. I decided that I would put my big girl panties on and get the job done. In my very first year of homeschooling, I would actually say the first couple of months, I'm a person who can be an overthinker really fast. I always like things to be right and perfect and all this other stuff, and I just didn't want to do it wrong, right? And so I personally feel like that's a lot of moms' struggles when it comes to homeschooling, is feeling like, you know, are we going to do right by our children? Are we going to be able to teach them everything that they need to learn? You might feel more comfortable when they're younger because, you know, you're like, okay, I know this material, but as they get older, you start to wonder like if I'm going to be able to keep up with the math or things like that. And I just want to be able to tell you that from experience, even from coming from a place where I even doubted myself, with as much experience as I have, and I have taught tens of thousands of kids, and I have increased student achievement levels. I have been recognized for increasing student achievement levels. I still had a fear in the back of my mind of, am I going to be able to get my child, you know, to be a wonderful learner, to grow up and be a functional citizen, allow her to be able to live out her dreams, whatever that may be. And then the more I started doing it, the more comfortable I began to be with the fact that homeschool is not school. So if you never remember anything else out of this entire video, I want you to confidently remember that homeschool is not school. There's so many differences in homeschool and regular school. So in the beginning, it's kind of like we want to be able to mimic school, and you're thinking about all the hours and things like that. Scratch it all, okay? Take your hands and put it on your head, and I want you to just erase everything you know about school, undo it, and then redo it the way that you want it to go. The children who go to school, they go to school, I don't know, 7 hours, 8 hours a day. It was crazy. Like, I used to have to be at work at 7:30 in the morning. I couldn't leave until 3:30, so that's 8 hours. The kids were literally getting out of school, I feel like, at like 3:10 or 3:15, and then teachers were able to leave at 3:30. The kids are there at 7 o'clock in the morning. They're not leaving until 3. They're spending 8 hours in school. Most of the time that they're in school, they cannot talk. They can talk during passing period. I taught middle school, so they can talk during passing periods, but that is probably 3 to 5 minutes. Lunch was about 15 to 20 minutes or so, and then 10 minutes of recess. So they get about 30 minutes of free play. But the rest of the time, they're required to be sitting in these classes, and they're listening to a teacher, probably tuning out 90% of what they're saying. There's packed classrooms with 30 or so kids in a class. I always had probably more than 30. I was lucky if I had only 25. And the teachers are struggling to make sure that every single learner has what they need, right? So the ones who can get it and get it fast, those are the ones that are moving along through the ranks. Some of the other people who can't get it as fast, they're getting there, but maybe just with not as much knowledge as they probably should have, and they're just passing them along and hoping that the next teacher can catch them up. And then you have your struggling learners who, if they don't have some type of accommodations, they're just not getting it at all, and they're still being passed along, and the teachers who are receiving them in the later grades absolutely know that there's nothing that they can do. Your child has every advantage being with you. You're going to be able to adjust the assignments to what they need. You're going to be able to adjust their interests to what they would like. You're going to be able to develop the whole child, which is something that I personally believe in as an educator, but I didn't get to do as much as I would have liked to as an educator, because schools have time frames in which standards must be met. You don't have that time frame at home. And so I want you to just erase everything that you think you know about school. Erase the thought that you're not going to be good enough, because you are. You're everything you need to be. You wouldn't even be considering homeschool right now if you didn't have everything within you to make sure you succeeded. So I just want you to know that, okay? And so everything else will fall into place. Like curriculum will fall into place. You will probably ask around, you know, what's the best curriculum, but I probably would encourage you to do more of your own research and research curriculum to see what's best for me, what's best for my child, what's best for my child's ability level, what's best for how much time I want to put into it. Like, you want to be able to pick what's best for you, and what's best for your family might be one particular solution, or it could be a little bit of different solutions. So for example, we use an online learning system, but because I was a teacher, I also supplement. So we use an online learning program, then I supplement behind. A lot of times I will look at the program beforehand and I will do some pre-teaching. I will let the program do the middle work, and then I'll still go behind and do some supplemental. I also prefer that my child not moves on. The first 2 years, kindergarten, first grade, I would not necessarily allow her to move on unless she had the understanding at about a 70% proficiency level. This year, I moved it up to 72%, because what I don't want to happen is that because she's home learning, I don't want her to just pass on to the next assignment because she did something. I want her to pass on knowing that she has the understanding, because at the end of the day, I don't know when I'm going to stop homeschooling. I hope that we are able to go all the way through, but she's a kid, and as she gets, to high school or something like that, she might decide she want to go back to school. If she ever decides that, I hope she doesn't, but if she ever decides that, I want her to be further along than they pretty much expect her to be. If she decides, hey, I want to go to college, I want her to be able to take whatever test, because they'll still have to probably take those SATs and stuff like that. I'm not that far along, so I'm not sure, but they'll probably have to take some type of test to show that they have the ability to be college ready. I want her to be able to have that knowledge, so I pretty much stimulate like prior knowledge, things like that. We have conversations. I get her excited for what she's about to learn. Then there's the whole program, and then I am looking to see like, okay, which skills do I feel like she needs more supplemental instruction on based on what she was doing. So for example, today we were learning about expanded and standard numbers, and so she had a really good understanding when she saw that in expanded form as well as standard form, but there were some questions where they were asking her, what's the value of this and what's the value of that, but they were not putting it in order. So for her, it was just being able to pay attention and not think that just because they showed you a pattern that that's always going to be the answer, that you have to be able to read for understanding and understand what the question is asking you to do. And so a lot of times I'll say, okay, I don't really feel like she had a good understanding of this. Let me find some supplemental materials so that we can go through those. And then a lot of times I personally like to use hands-on manipulatives. I'm very much a kinesthetic learner. So I just love allowing people to use as many things that they need. Whether it's auditory, whether it's visual, whether it's kinesthetic, what is it that you need to be able to get the skill so that you can learn it? When I do a lot of the supplemental learning, some of it is by paper, but if I can avoid it, we're not using paper and pencil, we're using manipulatives, or we're playing games or something of the sort. I think I got off on a tangent a little bit, but she wasn't able to go to school. I dove into the home learning. Year 1, we got through it. I thought we did really, really well. I learned from year 1 some things that I was like, okay, when I get to year 2, these are the things that we're changing. I would imagine it's going to be the same for you. You just want to get better every year by doing it. Year 2, though, I went to put her in school again. So we couldn't get in kindergarten, so we tried to do first grade. I thought she did really, really well. I thought that she was pretty much ahead, and there were 2 differences of opinions in terms of her learning and where she was. So the teacher who did her testing to make sure that she was on par to go to first grade was like, yeah, she's really good. She's super intelligent. She has a lot of knowledge. I can see where she is. I'm just worried that she's not going to know what my kids know by the time school is over. And I'm thinking to myself, none of this matters, because we're still going to be in school even when your school is over. And whatever she doesn't know, or whatever you feel like she needs to know, is something that I could catch her up on. Well, what she recommended was that she goes to that she becomes a high ability kindergartner. Like, easily and effortlessly, she could have been labeled a high ability kindergartner, but she was like, I don't want her to struggle in first grade, which I don't think that ever would have been the case for her. The principal was basically on board with saying she can totally go to first grade. It's your choice. As a mom, I didn't make the choice to put her in the school because I didn't want her to become a person who was like a target of anything that she couldn't do, and them exaggerating this is why she should have been in kindergarten. Like, I just didn't want that educational politics. So I was like, you know what, I'll just do it again for first grade. But being the person that I am, because I'm super competitive, it was like, what does she need to know for first grade and second grade and third grade? Like, so without pressure, I not only was confident that she would have been amazing in first grade. By the end of the first grade year, we had did a lot of things, especially for reading and language arts, to where I knew that she was prepared for second grade. Then at the end of her second grade year, seeing like all of her progress, I at this point just was like, there's no way she could go into a regular second grade classroom if it's not a high ability class that's going to challenge her, if they don't have options for her to stand up and dance while she's doing her work, or just to do an occasional flip or something like that. I was like, it's just probably going to be too many behavior problems. So then I had no question that I was going to go ahead and homeschool her again. Now we are off to an amazing start. I absolutely cannot wait to show you all some of the sessions and the curriculum that we are doing. I will say that there's so many different curriculums that if you're thinking about homeschool, just kind of map out first, like, what do I want out of this for myself? Meaning, like, do you want to teach most of it? Do you want it to be student led and you just kind of want to be, a supporter? Is your child independent enough to be able to do it on their own and you just kind of double check? Like, what happened?
My ring fell.
That scared me. I don't know what it was.
Sorry.
But basically, just try to figure out what it is that you want for yourself, and then what's going to be the best for your child. I know this one here, she likes to be independent, but she is not as focused as she needs to be all the time. I let her do things independently, but I'm kind of like watching, right? And then I'm kind of stepping in and saying, hold up, did you read that? Or go back and do this and do that. But also we have a lot of fun. We take breaks when I see her feeling frustrated. We play games. She has fun. We did not choose to do any of the co-ops last time. So this year we might sign up for a couple of co-ops where I'm able to kind of drop her off and let her be with some other homeschool learners. I do believe in the co-op that the parent has to also teach at least, like we rotate with the teaching. So I'm totally okay with that. We might try that this year to see how that works for different subjects, especially like science or social studies, because social studies is not my favorite subject. I really don't want to teach it at all. So I'd rather stick to like math and science and language arts and things that I love. And if there's a co-op for like social studies or something like that, and they're doing other fun projects with someone who loves social studies, she totally can go. But this year we're also doing more things like she has her own YouTube channel. So instead of that being a separate thing, that's going to be a part of the curriculum, where I'm also even going to be teaching her how to edit. She's not excited about that. She was like, no, I don't want to do the editing part.
I do not want to do it at all, because how am I supposed to, like, if I learn and I forget how to do this, like, I am not going to have a good video at all, I swear.
Well, you'll learn. Like, I'm not going to let you just do it by yourself. You're going to learn how to do it. That's going to become part of her curriculum, where we have time to make her videos, that I have time to show her how to edit, so she can help editing some of her videos. She takes gymnastics. She's interested in music and language, so just trying to find time to put all that stuff in there so that she can be the well-rounded person that she desires to be. And so with that, where we are, this is how we started and where we are now. And I'm just looking forward to an amazing year. How are you looking forward to an amazing year?
Yeah.
How's it going so far?
So good.
So good?
I love it.
She loves it. And so, again, if you're thinking about homeschooling, don't think about it. Just jump in and do it. I don't think you can do it wrong. Like, you can't do any less than what they're already doing in school, and that is most likely not giving your child the 100% time and attention that they need. Now, I realize that homeschool is not for everybody, but I'm saying this to you in case you're in the place and you have been going back and forth in your mind about whether you should. If that is where you are, I'm saying don't worry about anything else. You're going to be amazing, right? I don't think that you would have had the thought, I don't think the thought would have been planted in you if you didn't have everything you need. So I'm saying to you, don't think about it, just do it. And there's always the option that you can always put your child back in school if you feel like it didn't work out. So it's like it's a win-win. Like you just can't lose with this. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It is much longer than I wanted it to be. Have any questions, comments, if you have any things that you want to see on video, let me know. Like, this is one of the best things that I've ever done with my life and with my time. I just want to be able to help as many parents as possible. So go ahead and drop your questions and your comments, or just ideas that you want me to make videos on. We do have the learning sessions that will be coming up. They take a lot more editing than these ones. So you're getting this one first, but we are going to go back because we did a vision board. We did the first day of school. Been filming for the last, two or 3 days, just, our sessions for the last couple of days. I have something for reading strategies and things like that. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe and share. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time. Bye.